Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
Welcome back to Nelson Radio. I'm with my special guest host, Beth Stein. How you doing, Beth? Are you rocking?
I'm absolutely rocking.
We've had in this show's theme, Reinventing Yourself, and we're going to look at it from a different perspective. We have on the line with us Mike Fell, known as from his peers as one of the top criminal defense attorneys down in Orange County with the law office of Michael L. Fell. And we're going to ask about what happens when legal problems come up. What next? All right. This segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured, Worry-Free, and On-Time Limousine Transportation Services worldwide. If you need transportation, text the word limo to 313131. We're asking for your comments on today's show. Beth will take those calls direct, I bet. 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or connect with us on the web at nelsonradio.com. And finally to you, Mike. Are you glad for that intro?
Oh, very glad. That was fantastic.
Yeah. Hey, so thanks for joining us. We're talking about reinventing yourself, and there's got to be some parallels here in terms of the unthinkable happens, you cross the boundary, or just flat-out mistake-making, but you find yourself arrested. And so we had a number of listener calls, and so Beth and I are going to shotgun these at you and get your response.
Okay, so you ready?
I'm ready, Beth. Go for it.
Okay, so I have just completed all my responsibilities for my criminal case. What do I do now?
You know what? Great question. And here's the deal. Most people think that when they've committed a crime or they've been convicted of a crime, that their world is over. That is not true, especially in California. If you've successfully completed your probationary period, which is usually anywhere from 3 to 5 years, you're actually entitled to a dismissal of all of your charges. And as long as they're one of the listed charges, I'm talking we're not talking murder, rape, robbery, things like that. But if your normal charges that as Nelson may have said, they're mistakes in life, if you will, you're entitled to that dismissal. And so, you know, your question is, what do you do now? You go on and you live a productive life because you just got those cases dismissed. And there's definitely ways that can be done.
And there's a difference between dismissal and expunging those charges. Is that correct?
You know, great question. You must have listened to me before.
It's all I can do when I'm around you.
That's right. So the distinction is a technical one, but it is a distinction. When you hear the word expungement, that usually refers to juvenile cases. People also use it for adult cases, but when they're talking about expunging your record as an adult, it really means getting those charges dismissed. Now, there is that situation where if you've been wrongly accused, there's something called a factual finding of innocence. And that will actually wipe that off of your record, wipe the arrest records off your record. But the other one that is most likely termed a expungement is actually a dismissal.
So let me ask you this, and this is specific now to a DUI, and it's that deer in headlights look from somebody that was arrested. Once I get a DUI, how can I go on? I think similar answer, but that's the question. How do I go on?
Well, exactly. And most of the clients that I get that end up getting a DUI, and I think especially here in Southern California, it's, what do I do? I'm not going to be able to drive. What do you mean they're taking my license away? That's my livelihood. How am I going to get to work? How am I going to take my kids to school? How am I going to do this or that? Well,
hopefully sober.
Say it again?
Hopefully sober.
That's right. Well, the main thing is this. You know, in California, you are going to get stung, but that's usually just for 30 days. For 30 days, you're going to lose your license. That means you're going to have a hard suspension, meaning you cannot drive anywhere. But what the state of California has done is they've said, hey, listen, we know you need to be out there to work. We know it's your first time making a mistake. So this is what we're going to do. After you've had your suspension, or after you've had your license suspended for those 30 days, we're going to give you a restricted license. We're going to let you go to and from work. We're going to let you drive within the course of your employment. We're going to let you drive to and from your alcohol program. And in addition to that, after those 5 months of restriction are up, we're going to give you your license back. So, it stings, like I said, having that DUI, but hey, you can go on, Nelson, and you can be able to drive your car.
So Beth has this next one, and this is probably going to sting for you, probably have you flash back to your adolescent years, but go ahead, Beth.
Okay, well, not my adolescent years.
No, Mike's, of course.
So my son got in trouble in juvenile court. Not that I'm old enough to have a son. So he got in trouble in juvenile court. So will he ever get into college?
And again, that is a very legitimate concern, and a lot of my clients have those concerns as well. First of all, you never want your kids to get in trouble, of course. But if someone gets in trouble and they're under the age of 18, most likely their case is going to be adjudicated in juvenile court. What they are going to then be able to do when they're 18 years old, assuming that the offense took place a year prior, they are going to be able to, and here's where we get to it, Rob, they have their record expunged. And that means that gets taken off, that unless you're going to go for the military or become an FBI agent, no one's ever going to be able to know that happened. And because you're in juvenile court, it's also not a conviction. So with that expungement and, with that application being granted, which it normally is, they're going to be able to get in college.
But if they were to go for a professional license, such as a realtor's license, a real estate license, won't they have to disclose? Because for instance, with the Department of Real Estate, which just comes to mind for me, wouldn't they have the right to do any research into that?
Well, Beth, did they find your juvenile crime when you applied?
Nice.
Like I said, I wasn't. Not me. I was that perfect little girl.
Well, and here's what's Beth. Here's what's so interesting about that is that in California, when a juvenile is I'm going to use the word found guilty of a crime, they are not. What does that mean? That means there is no guilty in juvenile court. There is no conviction in juvenile court. Either the charges are what they call found to be true, the petition is sustained, or not. But there's never a finding of guilty. There's never a criminal conviction. So in the application that you may get as a professional, when they say, have you ever been found guilty, or have you ever pleaded guilty, or have you ever been convicted, the answer is going to be truthfully no.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. We have Mike Fell from the law office of Michael L. Fell. We're talking about those charges, what to do when they come up against you, and how that impacts your life going forward. Phone numbers to contact us, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. And so let's throw this at you. I got caught with drugs. Am I now marked for life?
And the voters in California have voted that the drug offenses are they're more concerned with rehabilitating the offender than throwing them in prison. So there are some wonderful drug laws, if you will, in California, meaning if you're caught with just possessing drugs or being under the influence of drugs, there's actually a program that you can go through. And people out there who know the system, it's called PC 1000. It's under Penal Code Section 1000, where you can actually go through a diversion program. And upon completion of that program and then staying out of trouble for a year, again, those charges will be completely dropped and your arrest records will be destroyed. So, again, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and especially when the person can be rehabilitated with their substance abuse issues.
There's hope for me, huh, Michael?
Absolutely.
Thanks for being with us, and we appreciate taking a look at what happens in life after the arrest and the possible conviction.
You bet. And Beth, just one last thing. I'll do restraining orders too. So if Nelson is bothering you too much, come and see me.
I'll keep that in mind, Mike. Thank you.
Mike Fell from the law offices of Michael L. Fell, the legal side of reinventing yourself after trouble with the law. I'm with guest host Beth Stein from Coldwell Banker. The segment presented by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time limousine transportation services. If you need transportation, all you need to do is text the word limo to 313131. Call us with anything regarding today's show. You can reach us direct, 888-888-2136, and stay with us. We've got the famed Coach's Corner with nationally recognized author and artist Karen Millay coming up. Stay with us.